The following contains flashing images.
Flamboyant, imaginative and luxurious. This is the Durham University Charity Fashion Show. Each year, Durham's creatives assemble to put on the largest student-led fundraiser in the UK. They've previously been sponsored by big names such as Red Bull and Domino's, and the 2017 show sold out its tickets in under 2 seconds. But what is the fashion show? For some, it's a celebration of student artistry in the name of a good cause. To others, it's a playground for the elite, disconnected from the community outside its walls. One thing can be agreed on. This year's show was like none other before it. Due to coronavirus, the show had a new venue, a huge marquee on the racecourse, and that was just one of the countless changes. This whole show was shaped by pandemic. Welcome to DUCFS 2021. Year-long preparation goes into ensuring the success of the event, from securing sponsorship deals, bringing designers on board, and building the creative theme. It fell on the capable shoulders of Suhan to oversee the creative direction of the show.
DUCFS this year is predominantly focusing around the idea of technology and connection, so that, entails human connection, digital connection, whatever that is. I think we all had a really hard year with, COVID and the pandemic leading to so many isolating experiences. The idea of the reset is for us to, reset any unhealthy behavior or unhealthy relationship that we harvest with technology in a way that to make sure that we don't lose connection with, other people.
The stage actually has 2 audiences, so there's one on one side and one on the other, and that's to show sort of the disconnect between us and technology, and then all the songs, all of the disconnect, reconnect, that's the themes of the show. And also we're sort of using cameras and light technology and things like that, just to show how technology can be utilized for a good side as well.
This year, the show supported Create and Three-Sided Cube. Create runs creative arts workshops for disadvantaged people in the UK and has helped thousands of disabled and deprived people access the arts. Meanwhile, Three-Sided Cube is an app agency who creates life-changing and indeed life-saving software, developing apps for the RSPB, American Red Cross and the Global Forest Watch. The philanthropy goes a long way. The 2020 show raised a colossal £171,000. But what has it been like to plan a show during the COVID-19 pandemic under the threat of rising infections, venue cancellations and lockdowns?
It's been an interesting week. We've had a few testing positive for coronavirus, but luckily, because we're sort of testing every day, we've managed to catch it before it wipes out the whole team. But it has meant that it's been fairly stressful because we've had 1 exec member down and now we have 2 models down from coronavirus. So we're sort of all shoving LFTs up our nose about 2-3 times a day just to ensure that we're safe.
Because the pandemic hit during March, when a lot of graduates, fashion graduates, are making their collection or making their final collection, and a lot of them haven't been able to do that because lockdown, they couldn't go back to their studio, all that kind of stuff. So we found loads of cool designers, but we didn't have a complete collection. So some of them we do still have, we have 1 or 2 of their outfits on the stage. But for the most part, it was, sometimes people couldn't even get back to their studio to send us the clothes, or people couldn't fly back, or people couldn't do this, people couldn't do that. People didn't feel comfortable with, signing a contract that may entail sending them, sending clothes, in the middle of a pandemic. So it's been difficult, but, we have 25 to 30 really fantastic designers, and I think that's all, you can be grateful for at this point.
We've not been able to do probably as many rehearsals as we thought we would be able to, and also, obviously, when the exec took over last year, they thought, well, they didn't know any of this was going to happen. So it's just the way that they've adapted and changed things. So like you say, we're sort of rehearsing outside. There's been a lot on Zoom. All the auditions are on Zoom. The headshots had to be done from home because we were all in lockdown. But I don't think it's necessarily impacted the show in the sense that it's still going to be just as good as normal because we've all put that extra effort in.
One thing the pandemic has meant is that the fashion show has come closer under the university's control, with the student executive committee having to work within the restrictions set out by staff. Usually housed at Rainton Arena, the show this year had to take place in a university facility. Working closely with competing ideas and priorities brought staff and students into friction.
I think we had big struggles with the university because we were stereotyped as a drunken and disorderly event, which personally I found slightly harsh due to the fact that I think any event in Durham, for anyone who's over 18 who does drink, probably will become a drunken and disorderly event. I don't think that's specific to us.
There's no creative scene here at Durham, and like what we kind of like try and do is give someone a little, like some people, like a creative outlet. And obviously I know a lot of other student groups like yourself, for example, are doing the same. But we're all doing this on top of like a degree that has absolutely nothing to do with it. So I think we sat down with them just to try and actually just talk it out and help them understand that we're not just the show either, we do so much more beyond that.
I think there is a disconnect between the staff and the students and the fact that they actually don't know us, and so it's quite easy for them to say no to things and be a bit difficult on certain topics because they don't know us and they haven't taken the time to get to know us.
The majority of what we're faced with is just like blockades of just like, we're just always told no. So anything we want to do, it's no, or it's there's not enough funding, or no, you can't do this. Even our charity selection has to be run by the university, which just seems absurd because surely any charity is a good charity. Why should I have to sit down and present it?
With all its glitz and glamour, it's easy to forget what the fashion show can stand for. With the opportunity to bring together people from all walks of life, the fashion show has the power to represent unheard voices in a way few other events can. This year, the cohort had diversity strongly in mind.
One of the things with the fashion show every year is people don't apply because they don't see people who look like them on the show, which then just creates a cycle. So I think it's just about really being brave and thinking, you know what, I could see myself in the show, I'm going to go along. Because at the end of the day, the fashion show, it's a massively diverse group of people, a great group of people, and they're always looking to expand that. So it's just about taking that step forward, really. I think that's the most important thing.
I think this year, especially DUCFS has done a really good job at getting a team of people who are all very different. You know, I wouldn't say that we're all stereotypical DUCFS people. I definitely wouldn't say I am. If you speak to any of my mates, you'll realise I'm quite weird, I'm quite quirky, I don't really fit any norms, I don't think, but that's celebrated here. Like, you can be yourself, you can do that, and I think the university really should be supporting that because I think we are one of the only groups that's really allowing people of all faiths, shapes, sizes, colours, you know, orientations. Like, we're all under one roof and we are celebrated for that.
I think it's a very welcoming place. I think Durham as a whole definitely faces some problems and challenges that have been made evident over the last couple of years. And I think the fashion show really does a good job at trying to challenge those issues. Still, as with everything, there's progress to be made, but it's definitely going in the right direction. And it's a very welcoming environment, and I mean that is the underlying thing here, that everyone is lovely and kind and accepting.
While the model casters have certainly made an effort to ensure diversity, not everybody thinks that the fashion show promotes inclusivity and body positivity for everyone. In July, Sophie Mannion released an article in Palatinate arguing that the show consistently fails the plus-size community. While Sophie doesn't blame the executive committee of the show, she does point to a wider fat phobia in Durham and society as an influence in limiting the show to a certain idealised body type.
Throughout my whole 3 years of being here, I have never once seen a plus-size body within any part of the fashion show. And whether that's within the promotions or within the catwalks, anything like that, I've never seen anyone. It's always been very slimmed, toned, muscular physiques. The lack of plus-size bodies, it's alarmingly clear that the show is showing that bigger bodies aren't attractive. And then that leads on to like the wider community of Durham and the fat phobia that I've experienced and countless other students have experienced that I've spoke to, my friends, people I've interviewed for my article. There's the same consensus of they don't feel comfortable within their bodies because of the way that students treat them within Durham. And by not having those plus size bodies within that catwalk, it's by excluding them, it's essentially saying these aren't beautiful. I've heard that the models are scouted. Like, why aren't we having bigger students being scouted for this? By scouting them, by making it very welcome, by including them in the shows, by showing that fat can be beautiful. All of that is like massively important to kind of break this stigma and to try and provide that representation within the show.
The runway is set, the audience is excited, and the backstage mood is triumphant.
Using the work extension, bringing up 30. Got bitches in the murky swerving, looking all curvy. We're ready to I'll skip it, bringing them worthy. Skip it.
Any nerves?
Never had nerves, never nervous. Never nervous, always ready.
So how do you feel about tonight?
Excited. Yeah, I can't wait.
You were on.
Yeah. I feel like this is what we've missed most from like the past year. God, dress up. What ball situation? Music, little relaxation. Lovely.
Having good food?
Yeah.
Crowd's really lively
tonight.
Definitely the best crowd so far.
No offence to the other crowd.
Amongst the revellers are team members, families and friends, many of whom have travelled hours to be in the tent.
A mere 9 hours.
We've come from Devon.
We flew up from
Cornwall.
Yeah, today.
To be here. Because we just wanted to support it.
5 hours this morning. Yeah. We would walk 500 miles.
It made me so much more nervous to have everyone that I knew here, but it was amazing. Like, the feeling was amazing.
Look, rest assured man's got you. If that's the way it's down, then I'm spoiled. Show you son, never block you. No one's backing your beef, then I've got to. Yeah, back your beef, that's my job. Just ride for me, don't ride off. I got your back whole time when you climb on. I've always been a real nigga to rely on.
Don't you know I won't get away? Now I'm in your space. Baby, you know I'm waiting for you.
This year, DUCFS aims to fund the partnership between Arts Charity Create and technology agency Three-Sided Q.
So far, they've reached over 750,000 people, and we're hoping to help increase that number these 2 nights.
Through ticket sales, an auction, on-the-night donations, and numerous other fundraising events over the year, DUCFS 2021 raised over £55,000 for charity. Yet again, the show cemented its place as one of the most influential student events in the country. After months of stress and uncertainty, DUCFS 2021 draws to a close, having raised both smiles and a considerable amount of money over the course of 3 intense shows. The relief is palpable.
I didn't fall over. Hey.
No fears now. We've made it, only with a few coronavirus cases. The rest of us are still negative, which I think is the biggest thing. I'm still here, and we've had 3 shows without any major issues. So if you ask me, that's genuinely the definition of success at this point.
There's not been many people that have been too intoxicated, which is good. It sounds like everyone's had a great time, so they're happy, us caterers are happy.
I'm tired, but I'm on a bit of a high at the moment, you know, but I'm going to go and have a drink and relax, and I'm sure that I will not be awake tomorrow morning. But it's, physically I think quite tired. A lot of time standing up properly. Now I can slouch, which is so lovely.
You know we done shows in DC and Rice, we drop my top like bitch freeze. London sky, cruise like a
And finally, what would you say to people who want to get involved in their university fashion shows in the future?
Oh, easy, just get involved. Like, the crowd and the people around you are always going to support you. Like, no one's going to do you down. Like, that's not the culture at university. Just get involved. That's it, really. What about you?
Do yourself, that's what uni's for. Don't worry about it if you're not into fashion. We've got us to.
I think it's amazing to see like what students can do when this is a student-run thing, which I keep reminding myself of because it is so incredible and just so well put together. And I think that's the number one thing, really. Like, even in all of this adversity, it's amazing to see this big group of people pull together and put on, like, still manage to put on something that is so incredible.
PalTV, I feel like you should subscribe to that.
Up the PalTV.